Hello and welcome to another session 6 of Year 5 Maths with Mrs. Furby on our unit all about place value. It is lovely to see you again. I hope you're ready to learn about negative numbers today. So let's get going with our warm-up. For your warm-up today, it's a little bit different. You've got a code to break. You've got to answer these questions and they will tell you the answer to a joke. Okay, so all you have to do these. Each row of questions is a word, so each one of these is a letter. So pause it, and then when you're ready, unpause. What do you call a cheese that's not yours? Pause and work it out. So what do you call a cheese that's not yours? Nacho cheese. Get it? Yeah, I thought you did. Right, let's do another one. What is orange and sounds like a parrot? Work it out. Pause it. And okay, you tell me, what is orange and sounds like a parrot? A carrot! Yes, that's right. Woohoo! Okay, so I hope you're feeling suitably warmed up and ready to go. What you will need today is just a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper. We are looking at negative numbers. Negative numbers are numbers that go below 0. So you get to 0 and you keep going. They are used in everyday life quite a lot. And it's one of those things that when you go lower than 0 and you think, well, how can you do that? But you can. They refer to things like temperature. So you might remember a couple of years ago we had the beast from the east and snow that went with that when the temperatures drop below 0. So we get to freezing cold and it's at 0 degrees and then it goes lower than that. Okay, and in some places in Alaska and in Antarctica and things like that, it gets to things like -50 or even a bit more than that. Can you imagine how cold that is when it gets to -1 or 2? Oh, I feel it's cold. Your freezer at home, if you have one, that will be in -degrees, and you might have a freezer where you can go and have a look and see what the temperature is in there. Most freezers are about -3 or 4 degrees to make sure that everything in there is frozen, because it has a freezing point which links to science, and that tells you when something is frozen. Okay, and the whole point of freezing food is that when it's frozen, it slows down the bacteria and it slows down, makes them very sleepy and things like that, so the food doesn't go off, so that you can keep it for a lot longer. Okay, or it might be that you want to enjoy something like ice in your drink and you want to freeze water to make sure that you've got ice and things like that. That also goes in a freezer. Another time we might use negative numbers is in a lift or in a building. So we tend to call the ground floor of a building 0 or ground 0, floor 0. And then if you go underneath the ground, you're going below 0, below where the ground is, and that becomes -1, -2, etc. If you've ever been to West Quay in Southampton, the shopping bit that has got New Look and How to Bear Factory and Pandora, what other one there? Millie's Cookies or things like that. That is floor 0. And then if you ever park underneath West Quay in the car park under that, that is then floor -1, -2 and -3 because you're below the ground. Another time is in coordinates. You might have seen that a coordinate grid that looks like this. And when we've got our 4 quadrants, we talk about going into the minus numbers here. So 0 is the point where the X and Y axes meet, and then they go like this. If you've not done these yet, don't worry, you're going to do them at some point in year 5. And then the last sort of thing that I could think of is when people use it in money. So it could be that you've bought a house or you've bought a flat and you have something what's called a mortgage. And a mortgage is when you borrow money from the bank and they buy the house and you pay the bank back or something like that over a number of years. And it tends to be quite big numbers, but they are negative numbers as well. So lots of different situations. Can you think of any more when you might use negative numbers? Have a think. Yeah? Ever seen them anywhere else? Who knows? Okay, so let's have a look at how negative numbers work using a number line. Okay, so you'll have all seen a number line. I know we've looked at them a couple of times in our sessions already, where you have got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, or whatever the number is going up in, and we go this way. But what about when we go this way? So you can go to 0 and then it carries on and you can get to -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, and so on and so forth. And you can keep going for as far down as you can. Okay, so it's just like going up in positive numbers, you can go down in negative numbers as far as well. Does that make sense? Are you good with that? Yeah, so let's have a look at how we can use this. So if we look at this number line, we're going to try and work out what's missing. Okay, so I've got my pen. Let's turn the pen on. If we have a look here, we've got a number line. We've got to work out what's missing. Here's 0. So we know that everything on this side is a positive number and everything on this side is a negative number. So if we go to 0, we can count up 1, 2. What's missing from that box? Number 3. We know that. Lovely. What about this one? If we go -2, -3, what's missing from between there? Shout it out for me. That's right, it'll be -2, -1, -2, -3. What would come next? -4, well done. -4, -5. Okay, what about this number line? We've got 0, and then we've got 5. So we know we're going up in groups of 5. So we're going to count up in 5s. Ready? 5, 10, well done, 15, 20, 25. It's just the beginning of the 5 times table, isn't it? Okay, let's go backwards. So we've got 0, -5, yep, -10, -15, and -20. Okay, so that kind of hopefully makes a bit of sense to you. All right, so let's start looking about what we count, counting forwards and backwards through 0. So if I start on the number 5, we're starting on 5. If there's no sign in front of it, so 5 like this, we know it's +5. You don't have to put this because that can get confusing. But if we're talking at negative numbers, we do put a negative sign in front. Okay, so +5, -5, 5, -5. So we're starting on 5. Here we are, and we're going to count backwards 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We land on -1. With me? Great. Okay, let's start on -7. So we'll start on -7. Have a look at the screen. Can you work out where that is? Let's change colour. Let's go for this one this time. So we're going to start on -7 or -7. And we're going to count forward 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you predict what we're going to be? We're going to be at 0. Because we've gone from 7 to 0. In the same way that if we went from 7, took away 0, we get 7, take away 7, we get 0. If we do -7, add 7, we get 0. What's next then? Start on 1. Let's change colour again, just so we can keep it nice and clear. So we'll start on 1, which is here, and count backwards 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we end up on -4. But that's not it. It wants us to do something else. We need to count forward 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've ended up on 4 because we've gone 4 to 0 and 4 onwards. So the number we land up with that 2-step is 4. With me? Great. Okay, you'll go. Have a go at answering these questions. We've got Ron and Whitney again. Let's see if you can work out the answers to these questions. Pause the screen, answer the questions, and unpause when you're ready. On your marks, get set, pause. Hello, welcome back. I hope you paused it and had a go at the questions. Let's have a look at the answers together now. So, if Ron starts on -4 and he moves forwards 5 spaces, he would end up on... Ooh, is that right? I don't know if I agree with that. Should we have a look together? Is this one of these occasions where I've gone a bit, I might have got, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm right, I don't know. Let's start here. So Ron is on -4 and he moves his counter on 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ron isn't on 5, is he? He's on 1. Yeah, we're happy with that? Yeah. Okay, let's try Whitney. Whitney's on 2 and she goes back 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I agree with that one. See, I've told you before, it's always worth checking because even us teachers get it wrong sometimes. I know, crazy. If Ron is on -4 and Whitney is on 2, how many do they each have to get to 0? So if Ron's on -4, he needs to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So he needs to add 4 to get to 0. And Whitney needs to take 2 away to get to 0. Oh, there we go. Right, let's see what's next. Right, so we're going to look at what the difference is now. Okay, so we're going to look at the difference between things. Now, it's really important that when we talk about difference in negative numbers, we don't use minus and plus, because the difference between these two numbers would stay the same whether we're taking it or adding it away. If we're counting on from one number or counting back from the other. So I will show you exactly what I mean. So if we start on -2 and we want to get to 3, we'll circle the 2 of them. We know that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have a difference of 5. Okay, because if I start at -2, I can add 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I started at 3 and went back the other way, it would still be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we don't need to put +5, or we don't need to put -5. For difference, we'll just put the number. So they have a difference of 5. Let's have a look at the number, the second one. So we've got -4. And we're going to 1. Can you predict what that might be? Can you work that one out? Yeah, let's have a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's also 5. They have a difference of 5. Okay, without counting it, can you tell me what the difference between 0 and -9 would be? Have a think. Let's check if you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's correct. They have a difference of 9. So just to remind you, I put it here, we don't put the symbols in front because the difference would stay the same whether we're counting on from one number or counting back from another. And that might sound a bit silly, but I know that there are some questions when you get to year 6, we don't say that word, or other questions when you're a bit older that you go, and they don't give you the mark if you put the symbol in front because it doesn't mean anything and it makes it not the right answer. So when you're talking about difference, you need to remember that. Right, you'll go, have a go, you know the drill, pause the screen, work out the difference between the two numbers and unpause when you're ready to see the answers. Off you go. Okay, let's see what the answers were. So the difference between 3 and 5 is 2. The difference between -3 and 5 is 8. The difference between -1 and 1 is 2. And the difference between -5 and 5 is 10. Well done if you got those right. You might have used a number line to help you. You might not have done. You might have just counted on. However you choose to do it, as long as it works for you, that's absolutely fine. Okay. Let's do this one together. So this is about temperature. So we're starting to think about negative numbers in different contexts now. So what that means is that we're looking at it in different ways when it could apply to different things. So here are 4 temperatures in 4 cities at midnight and midday. So we've recorded them twice. At midnight, so we're looking at midnight, so this one here, how many degrees colder was Paris to Rome? So let's look at Paris. Let's look at Rome, okay? So we can put them on here. Let's plot them on our thing at the top if that helps. So Paris was -4 and Rome was 3. Right, we're looking for the difference. How many degrees colder? Okay, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's check that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was 7 degrees colder. Okay, we don't need to put -7. We're looking at the difference. That's fine. So which city is 6 degrees colder at midnight than midday? So we're looking at one that has a difference of 6. So looking at these two here, let's look at Paris. So Paris was -2 to -4. Well, that's a difference of 2. -13 to 7. Oh, I haven't got -13. I can add it on here though. We can just add that on. That's not a problem. -12, -13. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, so it might well be Oslo. What about Rome to Rome at midnight and midday? So you've got 3 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's not that one. And -6 to 2 for Warsaw. So -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, so we have worked out the answer is Oslo. Well done. Okay, you'll go. Okay, read this. It's a very similar question. Okay, might be different things, but you read the table and answer the questions. Pause the screen, unpause when you're ready. Okay, let's go through the answers. So, which day has the greatest difference between the highest and lowest temperatures? It's Wednesday. And what is the difference between the lowest temperature on Thursday and Friday? So the lowest temperature was on Thursday was 1, and on Friday was -5. So that was a difference of 6 degrees, not -6 like we talked about. Well done if you got that right. Okay. Now we can also look at them in graphs. So we've looked at tables, now we're going to have a look at graphs. So this graph shows the temperature in 6 cities on one day in January. All right, so we've got 6 cities on our graph. Which city is 4 degrees warmer than Kiev? Right, so there's Kiev. So all I'm going to do for this is work out 4 degrees. So I need to look at the scale here. It's 2. So I know that this is going to take us to 0. This is going to take us to 2. So I'm looking for the one that's going to be on this line because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives us Paris. So the answer to that is Paris. Okay. Can you have a go at this last test, Jim? Can you give that one a go? So what is the difference between the temperature in Oslo and the temperature in Berlin? So have a look for Oslo and have a look for Berlin. Okay. I'm going to go through that answer now, but if you need a bit more time, that's fine. Just pause it. So Oslo is here at -8, and Berlin is this one here. Now it's in between here, in between 4 and 6, which makes it -5, which gives it a difference of 3 degrees. Well done if you got that. Right, you'll go. Have a go at this line graph. Same principle as the bars. You need to spot it and see if you can go. So the graph shows the outside temperature from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. on a winter's day. Okay, so let's have a look. Right, at what time was the temperature -2 degrees? And how many degrees did the temperature drop between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m? Pause the screen, answer the questions, and then unpause when you're ready to go through the answers. Okay, let's have a look. So let's have a look at the answers here. So -2, we have a look on the chart going along here. Here we go. So we are here. Is it between 8:40 and 8:50? Oh, I don't know if I agree. Do you agree with that? I think that's exactly between 8 and 9 o'clock. What is it? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, you've got to be so careful with these. It's here, and it is here. Totally right. So it's somewhere between 8:40 and 8:50. And how many degrees the temperature drop between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m? So if we look at 5 p.m, we're at 2, and 7 p.m, we are at -1. So it was 3 degrees. Oh, my brain. Right, let's go. Okay, and then we talked about buildings, and we talked about the underground car parks and things like that. So if we were looking at a floor, this is the front door, you'd go in on floor 0. You could then get in the lift because your house or your flat was on floor 6. So you'd end up going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But your car was parked down in -2. Okay, so if your car was down here, you'd then have to go all the way up. So this works for that. Okay, so have a go at these questions. Dave went shopping in West Quay. He parked his car on level 3 and got in the lift to floor 2. How many floors did he go up in the lift? Amy starts at the shop. Oh, I zoomed in. How did I do that? Let me zoom back out again. Oh, crazy technology right there. There we go. I don't know how I did that. Right. These questions I would draw if I were you. Draw them out. Okay, and might help you picture them. So again, pause the screen and unpause when you're ready. Okay, so Dave went up 5 floors. Amy went up 4 floors. And Lizzie parked her car on -1. Okay. Final question for today, your challenge question. I want you to have a go and see if you can work out what number the arrow is pointing to, and if you can work out what number is halfway between C and D. So just like before, challenge question, give it a go. Pause the screen and unpause when you're ready. Okay, so the number in the missing box is -4, and the number halfway between C and D is 3. Well done if you got those correct. That's really good thinking there. You have worked really hard today, and my computer's been a bit weird, but it's all fine. We've got here together. We know how to use negative numbers and when and how they can be used. We know how to count forwards and backwards. We know how to calculate the difference between two numbers when one is negative, and how to interpret them in tables, graphs, lines, and using some different visualization. That was a bit of a whirlwind, so if you need to go back and look at it again, absolutely fine. Well done, and I will see you next time.